Well, good weekend, all. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your weekend edition of your SPDR ETF stock market wrap-up for this Sunday, the 8th of February, Super Bowl Day 2026. All right. So the events of the weekend in terms of markets, nothing out of the government that was very interesting. Iran is again saying, and if you can see my recap of it in the metals and the financial markets, that the U.S. is not acting in good faith. If they were, they'd move their armada, and they have the right to enrich. They have their right to develop missiles to protect themselves. And of course, they'll never mention that they finance all the groups, but they do. So I think this whole week was a farce. I said that up front. I don't think they're negotiating in good faith. I think they're buying as much time as they can. There's not even another meeting scheduled. So Netanyahu is flying in from Israel this week. They'll discuss what their plans will be. And each day that goes by without a meeting, I think takes you closer to the president saying he's had enough. And I'm talking President Trump. So we will see if that is the case or not. I'm not a pro in that, but that's my take on what I've read. So maybe we should then take a look at how other things are going. And one of the things we know is that the markets rallied big on Friday. One of the things I wanted to cover with you was IGV. Look at how this has come down. Now, this is the software companies. So this takes a look at those, and it's all the big companies you see in there, and they've gotten down. I am pretty certain that what's going to start happening is you're going to see the bottom pickers start showing up. They'll say, boy, now I can buy some of these companies with great earnings. PEs have come down rather sharply. They make sense. The negative to it, of course, is the disruptor that is going on when you see that software can come out and mimic what they are doing. Anthropic is the example of that. And when they came out with the two modules this week, one to impact, of course, the financial markets was the second one, and the other was the software companies. That really hurt these values. And so they've all come down. We'll see what goes on there. The legal profession getting hit, the financial sector getting hit. There'll be other sectors. Because what happens with artificial intelligence is once it gets going and it can keep breeding itself and reading what's out there in databases, it can get quicker, it learns, it's able to make better informed decisions. Doesn't mean they're right. They're still going to need people to look over them. But this is what's going on. I brought this up, though, because at some point there's going to be a value here. Not all the software companies are going to get hit in a major way, but they're down. And when they're down, they're in a bear trend, and that's parts there. They're down to the 200-day average. They have been riding for 3 weeks now, the lower Bollinger Band, and got under it, and the momentum is oversold. It hasn't embedded yet. So this whole decline wasn't enough to make it embed, which I found interesting. So I can see against the 200-day average why some of the people are going to come out and they're going to start just throwing money at it and just say, I want to own a little bit of it down here. I don't think it's a bad play. When you look at Broadcom, and this is one of them that got hit with that, you can see how it came to the Bollinger Band. It's trying to get its legs under it. Okay. And it too is oversold. When I look at Gap, the apparel maker, they're doing a better job. They could even embed very shortly and say they're going higher. So not everything's terrible. Lululemon lost its edge and they've been sinking again. Then we go back to Energy Transfer, which, this is a company I like a lot. Natural gas, pipelines, distribution, how it all gets done. I think pullbacks into this range, if it were offered, could be an interesting spot in the market. Rivian, Consumer Reports rated them one of the worst cars of the year for last year. Too many flaws that they find in the software and things have to get done. I get that. Makes sense. And they're feeling that pressure coming down here to 1329. But I do believe they'll be one of the big survivors. I think they'll get through the flaws. Every car manufacturer does recalls or they have to do upgrades to their systems. This is a brand new manufacturer. I think they're in fine shape, and they will have those problems. In IBIT, we had a $10,000 recovery off the lows in Bitcoin just at the end of the week. And you're still down, but you're at the lower band. I don't see anybody reaching for that. In Rocket Mortgage, they didn't participate with the home builders. You know, there's so many, how do I say this, plans being floated as to what can they do to get money so that people can buy, well, rent or rent to own a home. There's just many ideas being thrown out, but you're not seeing it in Rocket, and you should if they're grabbing hold, and we haven't seen that yet. Now, Home Depot came alive, and this was beaten up terribly over the whole course of from August up until December. And since then, it has really put on a remarkable recovery, could be heading to the upper Bollinger Band, where I do believe it'll have trouble. Uber's the opposite. Uber did fine up until late in the year, and it has just since crumbled, going basically from the 100 level now down to the 71.88. So what's it down? In the high 20s, near 30% level now. FDX, I like the turnaround story. I like what they've done. I like UPS. I think they're all in pretty good shape right here. They got away from the low package deliveries. They went to where their bread and butter is and the higher priced, and they're doing just fine as I see it. Then we look at the industrial sector, and you know, one thing I'm amazed at is how good the industrial numbers in the U.S. are coming out. Is that something that's real? It certainly looks like it with the embedded reading over the upper Bollinger Band. I can't imagine that good-sized breaks won't be bought again. On the energy sector, what bothers me is you're playing geopolitics. And with the geopolitics, I don't care if it's for the service sector, whatever, you can take prices up on that, and then what happens is somewhere along the line, things settle down and they reverse course on you very hard. Be careful there. In the dollar, I am in the bear camp in the dollar. I think I've made that known in all of these videos. I do believe that Scott Bessent and the president are very comfortable with the lower dollar policy. They want a stable dollar, but they're not. They'll use all the adjectives around it, but I'm pretty convinced of what I'm saying. In GLD, the market's in a corrective stage, but not a bear stage. It's correcting a bull market at this point. Copper's doing the same longer term on the charts. It would have to get back under here, the 61.45 level, to tell me that there's real trouble in Copper City, and I'm not seeing that at this point. Eli Lilly, hims and hers. They have decided that the pressure's too great from the FDA, and they have pulled the pill that Lilly had announced they were coming out with for the weight loss. They had made a compound one, and even though they argued what made it so different and how your stomach absorbs it, and they have something that prevents it from not being absorbed a certain way, they've pulled the pill. That probably gives a bid to this stock as soon as we reopen. Lucid still falling back. Lucid was another one of the worst cars the Consumer reported for last year. I was just reading the reports as to what they had come in with. Walmart, just a powerhouse. You don't buy over Bollinger Bands, but they've got their whole act together, and they've got their pricing strategies and everything else. So when you put it all together, they're looking pretty darn good. You can follow what we do and how we do it by moving your cursor to the top up here, or you move it over here where if you're watching me on YouTube, you'll see the gears. Give that a click, or better yet, go to iraepstein.com. Watch the other videos. Enjoy the Super Bowl tonight. I'll catch you in those videos, or first thing in the morning as I do the morning video. You have yourself a great evening. Take care.